Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. Welcome. Hang on just a second. I've got a new thing to tell you about today. Here it is. I'm having a contest. You know how I always say how much I love the Portrait 3? Well, I decided it's time for me to put my money where my mouth is and give you one if you win the contest. How do you enter the contest, you want to know? Well, I'm going to have 5 videos, and each video is going to have a letter or 2 hidden in it. Once you get all of the letters and you unscramble the special word and you email it to me and my team at teampattyann@gmail.com, you may be the winner. We're going to draw somebody randomly when I get to 40,000 subscribers. So let me tell you, I'm almost at 40,000 subscribers. So I'd love it if you would share this and help me get there. And once we get there, like I said, all you have to do is be subscribed, turn in the scrambled letters, unscramble so they make a word, and enter the drawing. I hope you win. So let's get started with the videos. I can't wait to teach you. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to use the Portrait 3 for every one of these videos that I'm going to take from start to finish. Now, of course, you can use your Cameo machine to do the same thing. And most of this stuff you can do in Silhouette Studio software and use it in your Cricut as well. So anyway, let's get started. Remember to look for the secret hidden letter so that you might win. I know right off the bat, y'all are going to be asking me, what paper am I using for this project? So I'll have a link down below for my Amazon shop. And if you go into printers, papers, and ink, you'll find it in there. Click on that. And this is one of the ones you can use. It's Jet Pro SS. Look at the nice amount of ratings it's had. And I really like it a lot too. Free shipping, $15.99 for, I think it's 25 sheets. So also, if you wanted to get a larger sheet, there's larger sheets of it also. Here, let's see, here it is. Much larger sheets. If you want to do, if you have a larger heat press, or you want to do larger pieces. So this is 11 by 17 custom pack. The other things that I have shown in here is the printer that I use. And it may not be available right now. It's a little bit more expensive because a lot of people are converting that to sublimation. And I did do that with one of mine. Let's see, what else do I have in here? All kind of stuff. But anyway, if you go, here's the watercolor stuff, a little stand you can use. Here is the heat press that I pretty much use right here, and you'll see me using it in a bit. But anyway, let's get started on this. Let's go to Silhouette. And this is the guy I ended up with. And this is what I put on this shirt. If you look down here, you'll see it. Okay, as you can see, remember yesterday we started out with this guy. I taught you how to fix this so that you could color him in if you wanted to use it for vinyl, if you wanted to use it for a print then cut with cardstock, or even today if you want to color it a certain color and use it for the printable HTV, okay, the printable vinyl-y stuff that we have. So I'm going to get rid of him right now. We've already learned how to do this. If you didn't see yesterday's video, look up above and I'm going to have it linked for you up there. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I just went ahead and changed some of his colors on him to make him for printable vinyl. So I'll go ahead and change his eyes to white. So I can come up here rather than having them red, I can make them white. I made his ears a different color. I came up here to this palette and I went to the pattern one and I went down to, I think it was maybe that one. I thought it was a real pretty color, and I think I changed his muzzle to a little bit darker color as well. So I could go back to this one that fills the color. This one fills the pattern. Can I fill the color a little bit different? Maybe like that. So that's pretty much ready to go like this. All I did now was I grouped him back together. I can right click and say group or Control G and group. And then I knew I wanted him to be straight like this. Okay. So the next thing I did for my t-shirt was I got text. that came with Dina's Digi stamps as well. So I'll go to Control, and I want to merge these. So I go to File and Merge. And the ones I used was No Business Like Monkey Business. So I'm going to click on that and bring it in. There it is. All right, this is no longer editable text, but that doesn't matter to me because I'm going to use this as basically as a print and cut. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just duplicate this in case I need another one. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key on my keyboard and drag one over. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and trace this. So I'll come up here to the trace panel, and there's many ways you can do this, but I'm just going to trace it like this. Comes in beautifully, and I'll just, if I want to, I can up the threshold a little bit, but I want to make sure I'm not getting jaggedy edges. And I can just say trace. Now I can bring that up here and then I'm going to trace this one. So I'll select the trace area again and do this and use this to wiggle it around a little bit so it fits right over top of that. Perfect. And say trace. So I can move the original out, and now I can leave this at an angle if I like it, and I do kind of like it like that. It kind of makes a little monkey business. Or I could change it by clicking on this button and using the green dot. That allows me to make to change how this is. Once it puts the blue line under it, it's pretty much straight. There we whoopsie. Okay, that's not straight. There we go. All right, so that's straight, and I liked it overlapping a little bit, and this one as well. And then all I did was I went ahead and changed this color of this to, I think I made it black, and I believe I made this one black as well. And then I thought, you know, I'd like it to be a little bit snazzier or bigger than that, so I did an offset on these. So I clicked on this and said offset. Came over here to the offset panel, and I made it smaller than that. I think I made it like a 0.5. And I changed that to like a pinky color. That's too bright. I didn't like it that bright. Maybe that. There, that's pretty. Then I did the same thing to this one, offset. And I can make this a 0.5. Okay, I'm not sure what happened right there, so I'm going to click on it again and say offset. And I'll just use this down arrow. Oh, 0.5. That's what I should have done. Okay, too much. 0.05. There we go. And I'll change that to the same pinky color. And I like that pretty well. So then I'm going to grab these two things and group them, because if I don't, I can just take this right off of my offset. I don't want to do that. Control Z. So I'll grab these both and group. And then I can bring this one. Whoa, I didn't get it all, I guess. Let's try that again. Grab all of this and group. And now I should be able to, there we go, bring that down a little bit. Bring this, okay, I didn't do the same here. I gotta get all of this and then group. And now I can bring this up a little bit if I'd like. Okay, just like that. Okay, the other thing I decided to do was I made it a little bit smaller. So I grabbed everything, and first I came up here and made sure that it was centered. Okay, I want it to be centered on the monkey's head, like that. Okay, did you see that? Move everything so it's centered. And then I'm going to group everything. And I decided, well, I'm not going to make it smaller yet. The next thing I did was I offset this whole thing, because I want there to be an offset around it that will cut before I put it on my shirt. So I'm going to say offset. I'm trying to make a nice offset that hooks everything together but isn't like huge. That looks pretty good. If I make that white, maybe a little less. Okay, these don't look like they're quite touching, so let's go back up. So 0.35 I think is pretty good. I'll change those to white and see what it looks like. All right, let's see. So what I want to do, because something is confusing me a little bit, I'm seeing all these extra red lines. I'm going to take my monkey right now, just click on my monkey parts, and come up here and change the line color to nothing, so it's blank. And then I can see more clearly how my offset's going to look. And I think I'm going to like that a lot, just like that. What I could do if I want to is see this little part right here. It's going to cut in way in there. I don't really need it to do that, so I could double click on that to get the nodes, click on one to highlight it, and hit delete. Click on this one, delete, click, click. Okay, there we go. And hold down my space bar, and that allows me to go over here and look and see what else we've got. So click on this, delete, this one, delete, delete, delete. Okay, the only other thing I could do if I want to is see all these nodes right here. That means that the machine is changing direction a little bit to make those cuts. So if I want to, I could come over here to simplify. And when I do that, it'll get rid of some of those nodes. So watch. See that? When I simplify it, it makes some of the nodes go away and it straightens out some of the lines a little bit. So that's perfect like that. I'm going to group all this together. And I'm going to spin it around because I do want it to fit on my portrait. As I said, everything's being done on the portrait. Now, this is going to be a print then cut. So as you know, I have to come up here to the page panel setup panel, the page setup panel. Click the third button over because I have this on auto portrait, and my media size is letter or 8.5 by 11. So I can change this now and put on my registration marks. Now notice my monkey's just a little bit too big for this because he goes outside of a lot of the edges. So I'm going to click on it and I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. So now it's about, what, 8.5, 8.71 inches. Maybe I'll make it like 9. Let's see if that will fit. 9 inches. Okay, I'm getting a little bit iffy on some of this. So maybe I'd really rather it be 8.5. Just to be safe. Enter. Okay. So there we go. And this is ready to be printed now. So all I have to do now is come up here to File and Print. Okay, here's the monkey all printed out. Now I'm going to cut him out with my portrait. Let's have it on here like this. And I'll say send. I'm going to change it to simple. And I just wanted to cut the edge. So now it's just going to cut all around the edge of this. And that's exactly what I want. So I'm going to change this from cardstock heavy texture to, and I'll do a test and I'll cut this out and I'll be right back. Okay, that test cut did not work. So I'm going to try something else. I think I'll do a little higher, maybe make my force higher. And try this. So again, I'm going to use the arrows to move this over. And I can see where it's going. And I'm also going to move it down in. There we go, like that. Okay, now I'm going to say test. So what this is doing is saving me a lot of heartaches of not ruining my printable vinyl or printable paper, whatever you want to call it, printable stuff. Okay, I think, oh, now look at that. That worked perfectly. So I finally have the right setting, which is working just perfectly. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put this on one more time. And rather than hit test, I'm going to say send. I'm going to send it as it is. It says send mirrored. No, I like to mirror things over in the software myself. I don't like it to be mirrored here. So I'm going to say send as is. So it's reading the registration marks. And now it's going to begin cutting. Okay, I'm going to bring my portrait over here now because, as I said, I always like to test this before I take it totally out. And look at that cut, it's beautiful. So I'll just eject this and take this off of here. And now take this over to my heat press. Okay, while we're looking at my heat press, I wanted to show you two examples of things you may run into. On the left, I failed to do a cut around the actual image, and you can see the box around it. The second one here, I had my heat press up a little bit too high, and I don't know if you can see, but I see a little bit of burning there. The third one was perfect. I changed the settings on my heat press. So what ended up being the best for my heat press was to have it set at 370 degrees for 30 seconds. Okay, and now after this is done being pressed, what you're supposed to do is do a hot peel, and after it's peeled, you stretch it gently from side to side and up and down, and that gives it more stability or a longer life. And you're also supposed to repress this again using a piece of Teflon on top, and this time only do it for 20 seconds. So that's the last thing I'm going to do, and then my finished product will be ready to go. So let's check it out. Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you like this contest. I hope you're going to join it. I'm almost to 40,000 subscribers. I bet I will be by the time this video is finished. So make sure you send your entry to teampattyann@gmail.com. Remember, your entry will be the unscrambled word. I've given you clues during 5 different beginner-friendly videos. I hope you've grabbed them all. See you again soon. Thanks again. I sure appreciate you guys. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.